Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show. Divorced dad, single dad, divorced dad, single dad. Peter G Show.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. It's that time again. Hello, 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 hello. Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. I say that a lot, don't I? I have to, because for one reason, it's Sunday. Sunday evening, right here, in an undisclosed location in Burbank, California. That's right, folks. You're right here, right now. Just me and you and my 3 million closest friends. Sunday night Facebook Life of Peter G, like clockwork. I'm glad you could attend. Please do me the favor and share. Watch party. Watch party, watch party. Go down to the share button, hit share, and all it says, would you like to start a watch party? It's like, oh, please, by all means, do. And just hit start a watch party. Anytime all this stuff is playing. I'm going to say it again in a few minutes because everybody's just starting to catch on. But you have no idea how many people are actually watching. And I just got through talking to my sponsor, which we'll talk about in a little bit. But unfortunately, I picked Facebook to try to build this whole thing, and they keep changing the way they do business. And it's making it very difficult for me. But you know what? This too shall pass. Where am I? Palm Sunday, American Palm Sunday for most of you folks. I say most, not all. But for those who observe, happy Palm Sunday. I love each and every one of you. I can't say it enough. Through the weeks, through the days, I get people, so many people, I can't keep up. I try to. It's not that easy. But I couldn't do it without you. I really couldn't. I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. This is what it's all about. It's one person at a time, building, only because me and my little ideas. I believe. I have a dream. And that dream is to pass a message on with a little bit of fun. Actually, I want to have a lot of bit of fun, but, schedule permitting. To bring something of worth to you. Took years to develop this. Yeah, you can't, this doesn't come easy. Either way, I love each and every one of you. I appreciate all you do. And all you can do is by sharing. We're doing it. We're doing it old school. There's not millions of dollars of advertising and all that kind of stuff. I just, if you want something bad enough, you just do it. It's like being a musician. You have a band, and you just start writing music, and you just keep on recording it and putting it out, and recording it and putting it out, and recording it and putting it out, until one day, somebody finally gets the message and going, these guys, actually, it's not so bad. It kind of grows on you. Kind of like me. Hi, my name is Peter. I thank each and every one, again, for being here. Every Sunday, don't forget the reruns all through the week. Why are these tugging on me tonight? It's me, right? It's always me. Reruns all through the week. You can do watch parties even then. But, not everybody can stay up now. A lot of people are not working and got a lot more time on their hands. I've been staying up later at night, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. Because there's been some things I've been observing. But you can watch these shows anytime on demand. They're up on YouTube, LinkedIn, but Facebook, my Facebook crowd's my number one thing. And, you can do a watch party anytime you want. So start a watch party. So just do it. Just do it. Last week's show, I want to thank everybody for last week. Last week was a little hard, it's hard every day. In fact, even today, I'm scanning through Facebook. Happy birthday to so-and-so in heaven. Losing your parents. People with their parents. That's a big deal. What's going on here? Hey, I want to Sorry, I'm trying to read different screens at the same time. But I mean, we did a show on, coping with living the rest of your life, missing your parents and stuff like that. And I am, on that list. Miss them every day. But it's something you learn to live with, and we talk about it. It's really not that hard. I mean, well, it is hard actually, but for me, I like talking about these things because you need to get these things off your chest. It's important. So I thank you all for, talking about it and texting me and writing me during the week. I hope that message passes on. We'll touch on it again from time to time. There's always new people coming in, newbies, Speaking of passing on the message from time to time, day in, day out, I could not be here. That's right, you guessed it. I could not be here if it wasn't for my beloved Bolt Energy. I was going to say my beloved friends, which they are. Bolt Energy. Ask for it in stores, Bolt Energy. No preservatives. That's a big, big, big deal, folks. Go try to find an energy drink with no preservatives. Let me help you out. Save you some time. There's none out there. Bolt Energy. Enriched with vitamins and antioxidants. It's a cleaner energy drink. My Bolt Energy people, I swear, they're going to be on the show eventually here soon. Probably by spring. And, just picture the Hulk, except friendly. I look like Pee Wee Herman. But I love Bolt Energy. Bolt Energy, ask for it in stores. If you can't find Bolt Energy, they're new. They're spreading. It's not easy being the new guy on the block. You can also write to Bolt Energy, www.drinkboltenergy, and ask them, say, hey, where can I find this sensational fountain of youth? And they'll tell you where you can find it, all right? Not only do I love Bolt Energy because of the backbone that they, are setting forth on this new energy drink. It's a cleaner energy drink, but I love the taste. That's a big deal. I can't drink something if I don't like it. It's that simple. I don't care how good it is for you, how bad it is for you. I mean, people give energy drinks a bad rap. There's bad and good everything. But you know what? This just gives me enough of a kick in the butt. Just like I don't feel it, but I just know that it just gets me to that, to where I can, when I'm thinking, oh, I'm dragging ass, it's like, okay, now let's do this. So as always, and Paul likes it, my Florida correspondent, my right-hand man, he's got his finger on the pulse. That's all I can say, man. I'm gonna pop open a can, as always. Shit, time's flying, I gotta hurry up. Again, ask for Bolt Energy in stores. It tastes great. I love it. You'll love it too. Oh, crap. Ooh la la. Ice cold too. I got it. Don't shortchange yourself. Go out and get you some. Oh, yeah. All right. Man, these things are pulling tonight. What's up? Uncomfortable. It's me. Of course, it's always me. I'll tell you what. Oh, tonight we have Dr. Shawn Talbott going to be on the phone. Dr. Talbott is I loved him since the day I met him because when he was talking, you were able to listen to him and not get bored. He's going to talk to you about what's going on, stress, coronavirus, staying home, anxiety. He is the pro. He is the pro on all this stuff. I swear. He's always been that, but now more than ever with this epidemic going on, pandemic, he's going to give us some tips, some information worth the watch, people. Worth the watch. Worth the watch. Stick around. Right now, I want to talk to you real quick. I've been staying up later than usual, or I've been watching TV right now, which I don't get to do very often. And I've been watching the late shows. Like, you remember, you had David Letterman and Jay Leno and all that kind of stuff, and now their predecessors. You got Stephen Colbert, and you have Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel. They are, because of coronavirus, under quarantine too. Their shows are shut down, but they're doing their shows from their houses. You want to talk about an uncomfortable look. They are not used to doing that. They are stripped down. They're doing this show. They're doing this show, except they're naked. You can tell when they're talking. There's no, audience. There's no laughter. There's no feedback. There's no nothing. And they are feeling, you look at them, they just look uncomfortable as hell. Now, granted, they still have a bunch of people working for them. They're still reading things. It just doesn't. What the people that normally do it are putting it together. It doesn't work for this. This, my friends, is completely different. You got to have super guts. I talk for about an hour straight. These guys are, even with the show at their houses right now, are probably only having to literally talk into a camera with no audience or no nothing for about 20 minutes, and they're struggling. And again, I'm not banging on them. I'm just saying it's just I wish I could be in a fly on the wall with their minds or what they're going through when they're doing it, because I know how uncomfortable it is. But see, when you've had nothing but this is all I know. So I know it's so much easier when you just walk in and everything's laid out from you. They're struggling. They've had to step it back so far just to keep a show going. Now they're doing Skype interviews and things like that are getting pre-recorded and piped into the show, because even their live show is not live. Let's face it, the Tonight Show and all that kind of stuff, and Stephen Colbert, they do it at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and their guys get to fix and snip and cut and whatever they got to do, and then it's a live show. Theoretically, it was a live show, but they get to, if they have to alter it, they can. Not here, folks. No. It's a proud host moment for me, because this is what I do. I dream of the day I could have it that simple. There's millions of dollars going into those guys. Over here, pesos. Anyway, they just look uncomfortable as hell. It looks weird. It sounds weird. I don't know. But I'm sure they'll get better at it. Again, no disrespect. Those guys are who they are. But, sometimes I just don't get their agenda anymore. It's all political, and I blame the networks, because the networks are feeding that, because when you make that kind of money, you're kind of a puppet. I hope I never have to be, but you give and take. Over here, I answer to no one. If I screw up, I screw up, and if I don't, I don't. If you love me, you love me. If you hate me, you hate me, and que sera, sera. But I love you guys. Each and every one of you. Even the haters. Can't do without my haters. If I have haters, I know that I'm doing something right? Anyway, so that's the whole thing. It's, the whole thing with that show is, like, I've been watching it, I've been stuck like glue. Now the Late Show, after that, James Corden, I love that guy. I friggin' love that guy. They got entertainment going on. He's spontaneity, and, what they're doing is, like, I love that guy. I want to be on that show. That's the kind of show I want to be on. James Corden, The Late Show. They even got a theme song that's as stupid as mine. It's repetitive. It's got about 3 words to the verses. It just repeats itself, and it works. Love that guy. At least he hasn't conformed. He's actually entertaining. I don't know what's happened with all the late shows, the regular late show. They've just gotten way too interested on bashing and getting political and all this crap, and they forgot about entertaining. I don't know. Sucks. Really sucks. Let's face it. Once in a while there's something they're doing good, but anyway, now they're stripped down. It's like the show Naked and Afraid. They're weird. It's a very weird looking look, and they look uncomfortable as shit. God bless them, though. They're still making a ton of money. Me? Not so much. Either way. What else we got, boys? Tonight, I'm going to call up... actually, I need to call them up right now. All right, so here's what we're going to do. They're going like this, like this, like this. I can't help it. I had stuff to get off my chest. We are going to call Dr. Shawn Talbott. We are going to talk to him about dealing with the current situation and dealing with stress and all that fun stuff. Did I tell you about the late shows? They're struggling. They look naked. Who's your daddy now? All right, let's give him a call, right? Let's give Shawn a call, Dr. Talbott, and see what he's got, because I promise you he is worth the watch. Let's go. Yes, sir. Hey, can I do this? Thank you. I'm not seeing good today. What's going on? Oh, yeah. One ringy dingy. Two ringy dingies.
Hi, this is Shawn Talbott. I can't get to your...
Oh, he can't get to my call. How can you not get to my call? Let's try that again. Shall we? Can't get to my call.
Hi, this is Shawn.
Holy moly. I'll give him a second. Yeah, late shows. I'm sorry, I'm harping on it. I was so thrilled when I was watching those late shows, and they just looked as naked as I am every week, except they got a bunch of money still getting pumped into them. And I just kept saying, I got it. Who's your daddy? They should pay attention. I'll give them some pointers. I know they'll get it. Aha! You think you missed me. You know you missed me.
No, my phone doesn't even freaking ring anymore. It's terrible.
Well, let me see if I can help you out. I'll have the boys send you a new one. I know times are hard.
I blame coronavirus.
Yes. How you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Hang on one second.
All
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, I have the infamous Dr. Shawn Talbott on the line. Because, Shawn, I told you the other day, we haven't spoken in quite a while.
Yeah, longer than I thought. It seems like it's time flies, you know?
Time does fly. And I was kind of shocked myself when I looked it up. It was actually 3 years ago, February, last month. So a month over 3 years. You did my show when I was first cutting my teeth trying to do this show.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Yeah, well, that's me. So
perfect.
Yeah, so the thing was, I happened to catch you as always because I still follow you. I'm a big fan, and I saw you doing something, and you were doing your thing. I mean, let's face it, the world is pretty screwed up right now, and you were out there just putting out what you do. I mean, tips and tricks and how to survive this whole damn thing, right?
Well, this is the kind of stuff that I've done for 20 years, and it doesn't seem like it's in any higher demand than it is right now,
Absolutely.
Stress is always a problem, right? It's like, it's all around us. And now people just, sitting back going like, what the heck do I do? Like, it's just at a level that we never thought it would be. It's almost defies explanation.
Let's tell everybody. Give everybody a quick rundown of what your background is.
Yeah, so I'm trained in nutritional biochemistry. That's what my PhD is in. Studying how different lifestyle interventions like nutrition or sleep or exercise or stress levels or supplements or whatever changes your biochemistry. Meaning, we'll take an intervention and we'll measure things like, stress hormones in your blood, or we'll measure neurotransmitters, or we'll measure inflammatory markers or something like that. So that's the nutritional biochemistry part. But the kind of work that I do these days is sometimes called nutritional psychology, because then what we do is we look at how those biochemical changes result in a mood change. So a lot of my work is around stress and burnout, but those mood state changes could be depression, could be anxiety, could be fatigue, could be confusion, or what some people will call brain fog. And so what we're trying to do is get people who are in those states of just feeling kind of blah,
That's me.
kind of, okay, well, I joke around with people. I say to people all the time, like, how are you feeling? And they'll go, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
And I go, that is not right. The way you're supposed to be is good energy in the day and good relaxation at night and good focus whenever you need it. And, and people kind of look at me like I have two heads. They're like, I haven't felt that way since I can remember,
right.
because we're so stressed out on this chronic basis that it saps everything. And so, nutritional psychology is about trying to get people out of that state of feeling fine and into a state of feeling good and feeling great.
Well, as if life wasn't a bitch in the normal, days, and now we're hit with this, and we're sending people through the roof.
Yeah, and well, people are losing their jobs.
Yes.
People don't know, how long this is going to last. We've got all these conflicting messages like, use a mask, don't use a mask, go out, don't go out. Like all this crazy stuff creates like one of the big sources of stress for people. Or let me say it a different way. One of the things that really sets off our stress response as humans is a situation that is uncertain. So if you have an uncertain situation, that is just sending off alarm bells throughout your entire stress physiology. And I can't think of a more uncertain time than we're in right now. Like, people are always uncertain about the economy and their jobs. Like, that's the number one source of stress for most people is financial. But now it's financial, it's worrying about your kids, it's worrying about how long this is going to last, it's worrying about like this thing that is all around us that we can't see, the virus. And it's nonstop. But I think it's the threat of the actual virus is terrifying, right? That's a bad thing. 100,000, 200,000 people in this country might die of that virus.
What do you think about it?
Well, I think it's I don't even know what to say about it. It's very contagious. It seems to be, pretty high mortality rate compared to, like common cold or, some of these other viruses that we look at, rhinoviruses and things like that. But the thing that really gets me is that the mental wellness aspects of this are even worse in certain ways, because the majority of people aren't going to have a problem with this, right? It looks like maybe 20% of the people who get infected with it seem to have a real problem, respiratory distress, have to be on ventilators, all that kind of stuff, and that is terrible.
Yes.
But the other 80% of people who are either never going to get infected or going to get infected and be perfectly fine or have mild symptoms. Like, the stress and the worry that all those other people are under, that's going to permeate out to everybody around you, right? So, like, think of all the people who are quarantined now, with the whole family, and that's an uncertain situation for a lot of people, right? The kids are home from school, people are trying to work from home, it's just a. Can we swear on this show?
Yes, absolutely.
It's a shit show out there.
It's a shit show. Well, that's my show. Every week, every Sunday night, live. I mean, is there a reason to worry? I mean, I feel, that you should do your part, because I think some people are dying that shouldn't have to die because of that one little factor that you didn't factor it in. But are we overdoing it? I mean, are they overscaring us? What?
No, I don't think they're overdoing it. Like, there's a people who study, epidemiology people and, people who study pandemics and virus outbreaks and stuff like that. There's sort of a kind of a common theme, which is, at the beginning of a pandemic, everybody feels like they're doing too much, right? Where the sky is falling, we're going to freak everybody out if we take all these measures. And so at the beginning, it always seems like you're going off the rails, right? That you're doing way too much.
Right.
And at the end of it, you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, we didn't do enough.
Right.
So like, I really think that, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, we're overreacting and it's just a cold and everybody needs to get over it. But it isn't that. This is a new kind of virus that we haven't seen before. And that's what the big problem is. It isn't so much that you have to get tested, or it isn't so much that, we need a vaccine right now, because, vaccine is probably a year and a half, two years away at the earliest.
Right.
It's that our human immune systems have never seen this particular virus. So it's a new situation for everybody. That means that you could get infected, somebody around you could get infected. It's just like, nobody's encountered it before, and that's the real scary part.
Right. Wow. So, okay. And again, because I have Pepsi, one of my Ed McMahon, who's on this show occasionally. He's Mister. How many people die of the regular flu? And I keep trying to tell him, I go, this is not the regular flu. This is what did you?
Yeah, and I think that's a legitimate response for a lot of people to be like, look, 4 million people die every year from influenza. Yeah. But that's something that our human immune systems see every single year. And so, with that as a framing, 4 million people still die from something that we see every single year. What happens when we this novel virus that we've never seen before and seems to be about triple, maybe 10 times more infective? That's where it gets really, really scary.
I don't think the whole world is in on some big, evil plan, with the world. You can't keep nothing a secret. I mean, you get all these conspiracy people, and it's like nothing could be my friend even went as far as telling me about, remember Orson Welles' War of the Worlds, but that was 1950 what?
Yeah.
It's not that way anymore. You can't do anything. It's social media. It's like everything. There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, I've heard all those kinds of things too. It was it was engineered in a lab somewhere and then released. And then there's the people like you were saying. It's not even a virus at all. It's just this big media scam.
Yeah, they got refrigerator trucks in New York full of bodies and they're all actors.
Yeah. Right.
Well, here's the thing. So now, and again, we're pretty much self-quarantined for the most part. I mean, I'm just trying to do my part. And I'm just trying to keep it down. I don't want to see anybody I know get hurt. I really don't, including myself. You never know. Again, the underlying shit that you don't know you have underlying. But you get a lot of people. Now, for me, staying home and doing nothing is pretty norm. I mean, I can deal with it. I can deal with it. I mean, I like it. I mean, I'm not doing nothing, but you got a lot of people that can't sit their asses still. My parents are now deceased, but my father was the kind of guy, he could not sit still. Even at 92 years old, he had to go out, and God, I'm so thankful in a way. I'd be going crazy right now if he was 2,000 miles away from me and he could not sit still. And what do these people do? I mean, what do you? I mean, any suggestions? I mean, because there's people that they just can't do it. They can't stay home.
Yeah, well, they have to stay home. If you're not staying home, you are being irresponsible, right? It's not just about you thinking that you're fine. You might be fine, but you being out is directly expanding the scope of this pandemic, right? And people are like, how can you say that? Well, it's because, you're like, I'm just going to pop down to the grocery store. And I get it, we all need to do that when the cupboard is bare, right? Yeah, exactly. So go down there. Like when I go to the grocery store, I'm wearing gloves. I've got a mask. I mean, I'm freaking people out, but it's, you don't know who touched that cart before you. Yeah. You don't know who touched the bag at whatever you're buying before you. And you could touch something and you're fine, but you could pick up the virus and then transfer it to someplace else, and then somebody who isn't fine gets it from what you just did.
Your parents, people you love, I mean, anybody.
Yeah, exactly. My son, who's 18, was sort of laughing the other day, looking at his phone. I'm like, "What are you looking at?" He's looking at memes and stuff like that on social media, and he showed it to me, and it said, in the only time in human history that you can sit on your ass and watch Netflix and save the world. Do that.
I know.
Don't screw it up, And I'm like, that's exactly right. People should relish this time if they can, right?
Can.
Kick back. New York Times, they had a piece yesterday or the day before that said, this is not the time to try to be productive, right? I mean, people still have to do what they need to do, but we were out in the backyard today planting a garden.
That's right.
Like we're all going to be quarantined for a while together. Let's put some vegetables in the ground.
Yeah, it's amazing how but they're complaining about your family, and if you have a large family, a lot of kids, or this and that, nobody's ever been in the house all at the same time for this long. It's like, come on, really?
Right.
I don't know. I mean, so okay. So again, dealing with it. How do you deal with it?
Yeah, yeah, I see a lot of people, online making good recommendations about, you can meditate, you can, count the things that you're grateful for, you can,
That's every day.
all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
practice gratitude, be mindful, do some yoga online, like all that kind of stuff, which is awesome, but that's not my thing,
Yeah, let's
right?
get
Like
real.
I'm like I said at the top of our discussion here, I'm a nutritional biochemist. I study nutritional psychology. And like what I want people to realize is that you don't have to just be in your head all the time. Like how we feel isn't just in our head. A lot of the work that I do is studying the microbiome, studying like the bacteria in your gut and how that can change your stress levels and how that can improve your resilience and help with better mood and stuff like that. So I tell people all the time, like, hey, how you feel is not just in your head, it's also in your gut. And so that's where I come back and I say, look, you can, make sure you're eating the right fibers, make sure you're eating the right phytonutrients and get your berries and get your oatmeal and get your, all that kind of stuff, because that can really short circuit the entire stress response from more of a biological side than a psychological
But
side.
that's tough, man. I mean, everybody's not you. You know what I'm saying? Including myself. Even though I can handle it, I know I'm not doing all the right things, although I can put up and deal with this whole deal. And I know I'm not at my peak of feeling my best, but so's a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah, and so I mean, something is so when we're sitting at home and we're stressed out and we're worried and we're getting cabin fever, what do we all do? We all have stress eating, right?
Eat
We
like
eat
shit.
we eat
Yeah.
crap, we eat
Yes.
chips, we eat all the
I ate a bag
garbage,
of
right?
Cheetos last night. So
Yeah, exactly.
I
And
just
so is a lot of people. I did a Zoom with a woman the other day, and she had I don't know 50 people on this Zoom call, right?
yeah.
And they were all talking about what they call the quarantine 15. Because they're all gaining 15 pounds
Yeah.
because of this quarantine, because you're sitting around eating.
Yeah.
And so what I'll say to people is like, the fact that you ate that bag of Cheetos, you did it because of stress eating, but that bag of Cheetos, because of how it changes your body's biology, your body's biochemistry, that's going to lead to even more stress. And so you're going to be more tense and more anxious and more irritable after you do that.
But
so
it was so
if
good.
temporarily it was
Going
so
down.
good. Yeah. But if you could slip back and say to somebody like, hey, make sure you're eating right, that is going to be a huge de-stressor for your entire physiology. We can measure this when people are the most stressed out, and we have them eat I'll just give you one example, a bowl of oatmeal with blueberries in it, right? Just to give you one example,
Yeah.
that can lower their stress hormones by about 20%.
Yeah, but that was at 8:30 in the morning. Now what do I do?
But that makes your stress eating throughout the whole rest of the day substantially less than it would have been if you ate, a muffin, instead of that oatmeal.
What about stress drinking?
Stress drinking. Well, somebody asked me that the other day. Like, look, if I'm gonna drink, what should I drink? And I'm like, well, the best thing for your microbiome is gonna be a glass of red wine, because it's got all those polyphenols and all those flavonoids.
Let me write that down. Hang on here.
That's gonna do good stuff, right?
So I've been doing it all wrong, is what you're saying. It makes my tongue really red. That's the only problem. Hold on.
Well, hey, pros and cons, right?
Yeah, I know. Red wine. Okay, so all right, red wine. Real quick, hold on a minute. For those just tuning in, I have Dr. Shawn Talbott on the line, talking about how to deal with stress. He's an expert, in my opinion, the best about dealing with stress, hormones. I learned about things like cortisol, things I never thought in my life I'd think about, and fortunately, I got him on the line. Even though I wish I had him sitting right next to me doing this. So we're just talking about how to deal with what's going on and being cooped up with your family and saying, I can't take this anymore. So how do we take this anymore?
Yeah. So, and going back to your point about, people want to eat bags of Cheetos when we're in the situation we're in. I totally get that. Right. I'm right there with everybody else. Right.
I couldn't help it.
But so, when we're in that situation and we're craving a bag of Cheetos and not a bowl of oatmeal, like I just said, that's where supplements come in, right? A lot of the work that I do, the kind of work that I do, right? Around, doing product development around supplements. So like we can say to someone, look, I get it that you're not inclined to eat a salad right now, but let me give you a probiotic supplement. And if I can change the signals coming out of your gut, we can legitimately, like, with a good probiotic supplement,
Yeah.
we can lower your depression, we can lower your anxiety, we can lower your stress, we can improve how you feel relatively quickly.
I don't
You know,
think
there, and
people
there's
understand that, though. I mean, you know what I mean? You can, you know what I'm saying? I don't. How do you get that message to people to believe?
Yeah,
It's hard.
it's a new area of science too. Like, I think 5 years from now, I think whenever anybody is stressed out, they're going to go, huh, this might not just be in my head, it might be in my gut. You know, like, I hope someone's going to sit there and think that, and they're going to go, you know what, if I take the right probiotics, if I eat the right fibers, if I supplement with the right herbs, we can have an effect. Here's an example. I was supposed to give a presentation tomorrow, at a huge scientific conference in San Diego, which is obviously canceled because of coronavirus.
Right.
The presentation I was supposed to give tomorrow was on this really unique saffron extract that we have in a product that we call Kids Mood. And so this is something that we formulated for children. It's a little like a pixie stick kind of a thing, like a stick pack you just open up and dump in your mouth. Kids love it because it tastes like sugar.
Right.
But what we showed in that study was that it helps with focus, it helps with energy levels, it helps with mood, it helps with irritability. These kids, 10 out of 10 kids in the little pilot study that we did, had better behavior on a very well validated ADHD scale.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, that's the presentation I was supposed to give tomorrow in San Diego. So I'm going to give it, on Zoom or Facebook Live or something like that sometime tomorrow. But, like, that's an example of being able to use, like, a little herbal concoction of saffron and basil and oregano, and, like, it sounds like you're making a spaghetti sauce or something like that, right? But the spices that were in there have these effects on neurotransmitters throughout the body, and as a result of that, these kids performed better. So we can do that for kids, we can do that for stressed out adults, we can do that and help people sleep. We can really do this in a really natural way.
Yeah, but you get it. That, I mean, the one thing I learned since I've met you, which has been, I want to say 10 years now, just yeah, is that, there's all these great solutions, but getting people to buy into it, and people spend money where they want to spend money. That's the hard part. I mean, they'll buy cigarettes or something like that, or it's like they were going, Peter, I hear what you're saying, but call me next weekend because we're going to Talladega,
Right.
we're going to the races, and then they call you back up and they go, man, I really can't afford that. And I go, you can't afford not to.
Yeah, one of the things that I have a lot of hope for is that, 10 years ago when you and I were getting to know each other, it was more, the science wasn't quite there the way it is now, 10 years fast forward into the future, right? Where
I thought you were right on. You're still doing what you're doing. I mean, I told you years ago, you're going to be rich because you're right on the money.
Well, I think where it is now is that we're a little more dialed in and we're a little more precise, so that when people do these kinds of things that I'm describing, they actually feel it in a way where they go, huh, I don't think I want to go back to the way I was before.
Sure.
And then because they feel so much better, then they're like, you know what? This is worth $1 a day or $2 a day, or something like that. Yeah. So and then you're weighing the decision of, is it worth it for me to pay $2 a day to continue feeling this way, or do I want to go back to feeling like crap? And I think once you're there, then it's a little bit easier to make that decision if that change is so noticeable for people.
No, I get that. I mean, so you're dealing. I mean, I know you're. Even though are you home right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Obviously. Okay. So I know that even though you're home, and you were gracious enough to give me the time tonight. I called you kind of last minute, and I go, I don't know what you're doing, but chances are you're probably home.
Right.
But the thing is, you're always on. You're always doing something. You're the guy who still rides a bicycle, a mountain bike, and runs. You're a runner. Are you still a runner?
Yeah, still a runner, still a bike rider, still doing all that.
I mean,
that
it
stuff.
Freaks me out because I remember one time we were in Orlando, and you looked at me and you said, "You don't understand. I have to run. That's what I do. It's what."
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't forget this stuff.
Totally funny. So I'm writing a new book called the Mental Fitness Diet. And it's not just about diet, right? It's about diet and exercise and herbs and how to get people to feel better, right?
Yeah.
And I was writing today the chapter about physical activity, about moving, and I wrote exactly that. I was like, look, I have a bit of an exercise problem, like so much so that, like, if I don't do it, people around me are encouraging me. You know what? I think you need to go for a run.
Yeah. See, I have an exercise problem too.
Well, the other direction.
Yeah, exactly. I just, right now it's just the hustle is too hard, and I know it, and I'm not in my best shape, and I'm getting older, and I've noticed a considerable change this year more than ever in little things. I'm going, this sucks. I'm not going to want to be this guy. You know what I mean? But it's just not that easy, and I keep going. I'll get there. I just have to keep pushing a little harder to give myself a little more time. It's a constant hustle.
Yeah. It's a constant hustle, and once you can make it part of your everyday, and what I say to people is you almost have to say to yourself I'm going to become that guy who is active. That's just who I'm going to be. And I've been doing this for so long. It's so much a part of the fabric of who I am. And that doesn't mean everybody needs to become an exercise nut. That isn't it. It's just that it needs to be here, this is this thing that I do,
right?
And that's how it is,
right?
So that's what I encourage people to do.
But okay, so let's back it up again, because I know it's all really good stuff. But the thing is, you got these people now who are experiencing being home more than they ever have. They're being home more with their families. They don't know what to freaking do with themselves, and they're going nuts, and they're they can't handle it. What do we do?
Yeah, so you got to kind of get creative, right? So make sure you're getting. So here, I was just going to rattle off a bunch of things, but
sure.
let's step back and say that one of the best things to do, because remember what I said was one of the things that sets off our stress response like nothing else is uncertainty.
Sure.
So you have to replace that with a schedule. You have to replace it with, and people don't like to hear this, but that's why people are so freaked out right now, is because you're not setting an alarm, you're sleeping late, you're going to bed late, you're binge watching Netflix, you're raiding the pantry. Those aren't things that you would normally do. Maybe you do that on the weekends, and then you get your stuff together on Monday morning.
You have the news 24/7, on and talk. You know what I mean? It's
turn
scary.
it off. Turn it off.
I know, but you can't close your ears to everything either.
Not totally, but look at it. Once in the morning and once in the evening, and don't have it on constant scroll, and don't have it on in the background, and so put yourself back on a regular schedule, which is go to bed at a reasonable time, set an alarm, and wake up and start off your day like you normally would if you were getting the kids off to school and getting ready for work. And I don't know how many people who are sitting around the house in their pajamas all day. Get up and go for a workout and take a shower, for God's sakes. Get dressed.
Right.
So the more people can put themselves into a regular normal schedule, the more they'll start to feel normal again. Right. Being just, out of whack makes us more out of whack and more out of whack. And, people are starting to complain now about, insomnia and, sleep disturbances. And that's partly because they're worried, but it's partly because they're goofing off all day. Goofing off is probably not the right way to say it, but, they're sort of floating through the day, and that's not what we're used to. Right. So our circadian rhythms get off.
Right. I don't know. I mean, to me, like I said, I feel like I've lately been not as productive. I have a million things I need to do around the house. There's no doubt. And I should be taking advantage of this, and I will. But sleeping is something that I have had this past year has been just go. I just running out of nervous energy because dealing with a lot of personal issues. My father passed away a year ago. Running back and forth to Florida's. Come home. I was dealing with another elderly gentleman who I was taking care of, Mr. Ralph. I did a show on Mr. Ralph, and he had nobody. Somebody had to deal with him, and it's that's the way I'm wired. I dealt with it, but up until now, I am now alleviated of a lot of responsibilities, and then this shit hits. But the thing was, I was tired. I've been staying up late. I've been watching, actually watching. I don't even get to watch TV. My life is so full, and watching the late night shows, watching them recede and going backwards, and they're doing a show similar to mine, except
I know, yeah, it's crazy.
They're so uncomfortable.
Yep.
It's like who's your daddy? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, call me. I'll give you some tips on how to talk to nobody. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, sleep is one of those things that I think is so underappreciated what it does for people. It's not just that if you don't get enough sleep, you're going to be grouchy the next day, right?
No.
You're if you don't get enough sleep, your brain is building up all of these detrimental, damaging proteins and plaques, and you need that deep sleep in order for your body to recover, for your brain to recover, for your neurons to clean themselves so that they function the right way, and you don't develop dementia prematurely, and all that kind of stuff.
I just feel like my eyes have like aged underneath my eyes, and it's like I don't wear. You're not watching, but I wear a tinted glass only because the camera versus the monitor is off by several inches, and and you're naturally staring at the monitor, and you look cockeyed. And I keep trying to tell people, they go, "Why do you wear sunglasses?" It's like, they're not sunglasses; they're actually readers as well. But the thing is, I can take them off, and it's not a big deal. But you look cockeyed to the camera, so I wear these because if the camera was set back farther, which it will be once I start having guests, it just looks funny. But my eyes, I look in the bathroom mirror, and this year I got lines under my eyes like there's no tomorrow. It's like, what the hell happened? All of a sudden, like that. And I want them to go away. It's like I'm hoping I rest up during this period. That maybe it's semi-reversible. I know I'm getting older. You know what I mean? I can live with that. But I mean, what do you do? It's like we're always hustling.
Yeah, and I don't want to tell people to not hustle. Like, when I go out and I give a talk about stress, I think people are expecting me, because I've been writing books about stress for 20 years. I think they're expecting me to say, what you guys need to do? You need to reduce your stress. And that is not what I say in my books or in my talks. I try to educate people about, look, if you're that person you just described, that person who's hustling and has tons of stuff to do every day, and you're busy and you're helping other people, and you don't want your stress to go down, because that means something has to leave, right? You have to drop something in order to have lower stress.
Right.
The other side of the equation, though, is stress resilience, making sure that you have enough of a buffering capacity to make sure that stress doesn't overwhelm you and lead you to anxiety and depression and burnout. And it's some of the things that I said before, like eating right and exercising and getting your sleep and taking the right supplements. And, so much so that, I've been talking about these supplements for so damn long. I finally set up a company a couple of years ago to bring this stuff out to people and say, look, this is the one I was talking about before. We put it into this powder. This is the other one I was talking about. We put it into this drink. This is the other one we're talking about. We put it into this pill, so that people can actually plug those kinds of things in. Because what I've found is that, like, I used to be very much the kind of nutritionist who would say, supplements can be the last piece of the puzzle, but first you have to get your nutrition dialed in, and then you have to get your stress levels dialed in, and then you have to get your sleep, and then you have to get your exercise, and then once everything's good, supplements can be that last last 1%, and then you're going to be perfect. And now I've come all the way back around to say, look, if we can use these supplements first to lower your stress, or take the edge off, or give you better sleep quality, or help you focus better during the day, whatever the case may be, then you're probably in a better place where now you can go, all right, I'm less stressed out. Now tell me more about that diet. Or now my energy levels are a little bit higher. Now tell me about that exercise regimen. So supplements now are sort of the front end of how I educate people, because it puts them in a place where psychologically and mentally they're ready for that other stuff. Really? If that makes sense. Yeah,
just again getting them to go, hey, you need to try this. And you know what people want? That was the problem. People want instantaneous response. They want to know like it's like a hit of acid or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And there's certain ways that we can do that. Like, sometimes, if we're looking at something like depression and anxiety, those will generally take us like 4 weeks, 6 weeks, 8 weeks to really get meaningful changes for somebody. It is a long time.
Most people won't do it.
Most people won't do it.
Give up.
But they will if on the front end, if like within an hour of taking something, we can have their tension come down a little bit, or their stress levels come down a little bit. We can do that in about an hour, and then people go using some amino acids like theanine, for example, right? That can change your brain waves out of tension and anxiety, beta waves, into relaxed alertness, alpha waves, within about 60 minutes. And somebody does that, and they go, huh, I like the way that feels.
Well,
And so they do
that's
it.
the thing. Like the way it feels. You just hit that one because, see, the problem was that I noticed back when we were going through all this and I was buying into the whole thing was like, people, you're looking for some kind of reaction, except you're just feeling normal. And so you don't feel it because you're feeling normal. They want to feel something. Like, you're not going to get a high. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, it's not a high, but if somebody's tense and irritable and anxious, and within an hour you can have them go, and now they feel calm and they feel relaxed.
Do
and
they know?
feel yes. And people will say this, and it's the funniest thing to see. Like so this theanine I actually have in a powder that's a probiotic powder. The probiotics aren't going to work for 4 weeks. We know that, right? That's just the nature of how they work.
Mm-hmm.
But we put this theanine in there so that somebody within an hour can go, hey, I think these probiotics are working. I can feel it in my microbiome. And we're like, no, you can't. What you're feeling, you're not going to feel that for a month. You're not going to feel the microbiome change for a month.
What is a microbiome change?
So the microbiome is the bacteria in the gut.
Yeah.
If we can change that in about 4 weeks, we can start producing more serotonin, which is going to reduce your depression, more GABA, which is going to reduce your anxiety, more dopamine, which is going to reduce your fatigue. So we get all of these neurotransmitters that will change their production from the microbiome. And in a month, you're going to feel substantially better. But in the meantime, right, while you're waiting for that 1 month time frame to come up, you're going to feel so much better. You won't be able to believe it. In the interim,
sign me up.
So on one day we can reduce your tension. You keep doing that for a couple of days. On day 5, 6, 7, we can improve your mental focus and take away your brain fog. After about week 2, we can improve your resilience, right? So like the same thing that used to really stress you out, now that thing happens and you go, okay, we can deal with this. So like you get a little better and then a little more better and a little more better. And then finally at the end of that month, you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how much better I feel. But it didn't come all at once. It comes in these waves, and I refer to that as something called phased benefits, where we give you a little bit of a benefit and then a little bit more and a little bit more, simply because they have different time courses of how these different neurotransmitters work in your body.
Sounds too good to be true.
Well, 10 years ago, it was too good to be true. And we didn't know enough about the science to do that. But now we do. And it's really, really cool effect because we can get people to get to that point where they go, yeah, I feel good. I don't want to go back to the way that guy felt before. I'm different. And it's the coolest thing to see, because now that person, not only do they not want to go back there and feel that way, they want to look forward and say, all right, if I feel this good after 4 weeks, how good am I going to feel after 8 weeks? How good am I going to feel after 12 weeks? What are the possibilities for me here? It's really neat.
Will you?
You won't.
When is enough?
Well, see, that's it. I joke with people. I'm like, look, you're not going to keep feeling better into infinity, right?
Yes.
You'll eventually reach a new plateau, but that plateau might be 20% better or 30% better or 60% better than where you started. And once you get there, then the question is, okay, how do I stay here? And it means, you probably switch to maybe not using as many supplements, or using them only on the days when you're stressed out, or, when you have a big deadline coming up, or, whatever.
So you're telling me, from when I met you years ago, and I thought, you really had your finger on the pulse, of this kind of stuff. From the 10 years of your research, because that's what you do, to now, you think there's been leaps and bounds?
Leaps and bounds. Yeah,
really?
It is absolutely a new world. And
really?
So, I mean, so much so that I think we're right on the cusp of an era where, all the pharmaceutical, synthetic antidepressants, anti-anxieties, ADHD drugs, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We do not need those for the vast majority of people anymore, because the natural therapies have gotten so good. In fact, I'll tell you this, I was just in London, this past November, to speak at a conference called the International Society for Nutritional Psychiatry Research. So this is an international organization that is devoted to exactly what I just described.
Right.
That it's been slowly getting better and better and better, and now it's finally reaching prime time where we can say to people, look, do you want to feel better? great. We have all these very effective, very well validated natural options, and we can give you a whole menu of things. And we're almost on the cusp of being able to like give people different tests to say like, all right, Peter, you know what's going to really work for you based on this test, we're going to give you this, and then Shawn, based on your test, we're going to give you that. You know, we're not quite there yet, but we're, you know, 5 years from now, we'll probably will be.
You think the pharmaceutical companies are going to want to hear that?
Well, I think that, you know, the pharmaceutical companies are looking at the same body of science that we are, and they'll take it in a different direction. So like, you know, when I talk about the microbiome, I'll look at it and say, all right, what probiotics can I give? What fibers can I give? What plant extracts can I give to change the natural makeup of the bacteria in the gut? Whereas a pharmaceutical company would look at it and say, well, I don't care about the bacteria. I just care about what they're making. So if they're making a chemical compound that makes somebody feel happier, if I can identify that compound and then make a synthetic version of it,
right,
that's what I'm interested in, because then they'll patent that, and you know, that'll be a new drug.
Right.
You know, so like, you know, it's just a difference of strategy, right? They're trying to find that thing that they can make a synthetic version of.
Sure.
I'm trying to get the bacteria to naturally make more of that thing that will naturally make you feel better.
It seems complicated.
It's complicated in how we study it,
yeah,
but it's really simple in how somebody can plug it into their life, and that's what I love about it.
You have to educate the doctors. I mean, the doctors are going to be the ones who are going to have to figure, you know, to suggest this. Nobody who's going to just know.
No, I mean, it's things like this, right? We get on a call like this, and
right,
you put it out over Facebook, and
sure,
you know, maybe two people are going to go, yeah, I'll try that. And then if they try it and somebody around them says, what the heck are you doing? You seem like you're so much better. They'll go, I don't know, this stuff that I heard about on Peter G's show. And then that person knows about it.
right.
And then they'll tell somebody.
No
you know?
doubt.
So like,
no doubt.
I think that's how these really
right,
new things start to spread.
Fair enough. Again, I totally believe in, again, I know how dedicated you are, and that's why, again, we've remained on and off. I mean, we're all busy doing our thing, but you've always been, since the day I met you, I remember the first day I heard you speak, and I go, I like this guy, you know? and to me, you are my Dr. Oz. I think Dr. Oz, you know, is a pansy compared to you. That's just, you know, I mean, he was. I liked him when he was on Oprah and all that, but I think he just got too much into the show business aspect of it, and now there's nothing there. And you are just the guy who's truly, you know, doing what you're doing, because that's who you are. So
well, thanks, man. I really enjoy it. It's you know, it's fun. It's interesting. It, you know, satisfies my curiosity. But I love when I can see somebody who takes my advice and changes how they function, and you know, that's good for them. It's good for everybody around them.
Right. No, I get it, and that's why we have remained friends. And again, as my show grows, I hope to have you on more. I mean, I know it's been I can't believe it's been 3 years. That really freaks me out.
Yeah, same.
Well, yeah, there's been so much going on, but the thing is, things are changing, you know, a lot, and there's a guy like you is somebody who I always felt is very valuable, and bringing, you know, information to my 3 million people, whatever the hell they are, but they are paying attention, and it's like, you know, I always said to myself, I said, if I ever get lucky enough to get to the point where I can have somebody to be my that person of knowledge for this department, that is you. That is you. And
well, thanks. I appreciate it.
No, and I'm going to stick by it, because that day will come. Because hell or high water, it's like I'm not backing down. It's like, you know,
awesome.
Yeah, they're going to end up having to give in because I'm not going away. But is there anything you want to promote? I mean, what you're doing or anything like that? You know,
yeah. So you know, the company that I started with some partners in California, Southern California.
Yeah.
It's called Amare. So AMARE.com, and people can go there and see what the products are and what our programs are, but it's really taking that really cutting edge science that's finally to the point where people can just not even care about the science, just try one of the products, plug it in, and go, yeah, I think that did work for me. You know, so that's what we want to bring to people, this idea of mental wellness.
Right, and you have a website too, right?
Yeah, and my website, I post up this stuff all the time, and you know, put videos up there. It's just my name, ShawnTalbott.com.
Right. I mean, you're always out there. You're always doing it. I know you have a passion for what you do, just like we do here, and that's why I believe in you so much. And I think I really need to not let as much time go by. If you're available, I'd like to have you on more periodically, because this is stuff that really, I mean, my whole thing was, it's like, I want to entertain people, but I also want to bring some good to the world. You know what I mean? And,
right.
And passing the word on, or a little bit of information, if I helped one person, get better, to pass it on to another person, I feel like, okay, at least I'm doing something. And
That's all any of us can do, right?
Yeah, well, pretty much. I mean, you're right. But I mean, there's people that just entertain to entertain, and I wanted to have this balance. I guess you can't have it all, but right now, I mean, I'm looking at this, I'm going, how do you keep people from, that are staying home, from beating the shit out of each other because they never realize they're got the, I'm good about this. Like, I have no problem. This is pretty much how my past 10 years has been, is laying low. So I'm okay, and I'm okay with being by myself, or at times, because I've learned to deal with that kind of stuff. But a lot of people can't.
Right.
And that's where I said, you know what? I watched you do your thing. You did a Facebook Live thing. I caught, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and I said, you know what? Shame on me. I need to give you a call, because you're the perfect guy.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad we're back in touch.
Well, we are. I mean, we never lost. It's just, again, life is just pulling us through all different places. So, it is what it is. But I truly, truly appreciate you for taking the time out of your life to talk to my people. And I'm going to try to make it a point here. We'll see if we can do something a little more frequent. And as time goes on, hopefully, like I said, if ever comes the day where I get the opportunity to be like the other guys that are doing all this stuff, except on a larger scale, I I promise you, from the bottom of my heart, you are my Dr. Oz.
Thanks, man.
yeah. I mean, because I just think you're way better. You can tell when you're looking at you, listening to you, it's coming from deep within. There's no bullshit. It's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. I bought into you a long time ago, I told you, and I still do believe, except, I'm just having to fight this. As I told you on the phone the other day, I said, overnight success is not overnight.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I appreciate you taking the time. I know it's Sunday night and families and this and that, but this is what time my show is, and it'll be rerun through the week, and it's going to go on and live on YouTubes and LinkedIn's and all these things. If there's any use you could find out of it, you can take clips and cut it up, and it's not only just audio, it's video. Again, this is like a TV show that never happened.
Beautiful. I'll share it out to all my social channels too.
Yeah, because you're doing a good thing, and I know you are, and it's just a matter of passing the word. But again, Dr. Shawn Talbott, I truly appreciate you taking the time for being on my little old show. And
my pleasure.
Yeah, so
hang in there.
I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice. I mean, I'm not a good quitter. That's my problem. And I'll get my ass kicked, but I'll still get up and brush myself off and go, okay, now what? Now what do you want to do?
Right. That's resilience.
I do have that. I do have that. Would I like to be in better shape? Again, I've been flat out honest. I mean, I have not been as good as I need to be or want to be, but you have to pick and choose. There's only so many hours in the day, and knowing that I would feel better following your guidelines, and I do kind of to a certain extent, but it's just the way it is. But I'm just glad I wake up every day.
Right.
All right, listen.
All right, have a good night.
Thank you again. That's right. I'll talk to you down the road, and again, feel free to chop it up, use it to your discretion.
Will do.
All right,
Take
love
care.
you. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Shawn Talbott. Love that guy. Love that guy. Love that guy. He's the real deal. I see through a lot of people. He's not show business. He's the guy. I mean, I'm telling you, if you follow him on Facebooks or this and that, he's going on a mountain bike ride of, 9,000 miles or whatever the hell. He's doing it in the snow. I think he lives up in Utah. But follow him, DrShawnTalbott.com. And good stuff. Stay healthy. Yes, we can only hope. Anyway, I'm very appreciative of him coming on. I hope you take the information he's given you and the company he develops. And I mean, it's not all business. He really believes in what he does, and I believe in what he does. It's a big deal. He's got good stuff. He does. Hang on 1 second here. Ooh. The end of another good show. I hope this show is of worth to you guys. I want you to pass it on as the week progresses, the month progresses. If you come across this show, again, I can't tell you enough. Share, share, share. What have I learned from this show? If you're going to drink red wine. I guess there's a lot of benefits in red wine. I just didn't like getting my tongue and my teeth all red, but I guess I'll switch to red wine. Kidding, kinda not. Real quick. I'm already 5 minutes over, but that's okay. I wanted to tell you something. Last week I told you about my daughter. She watched what was that, Tiger King or whatever the hell it was, that redneck dude who did they did that documentary it's on Netflix thing, and she's on the phone and she's talking to me. She says, your show is a lot like this, and I go, what do you mean? And she starts cracking herself up. She can't even tell me what she means because she's laughing so hard every time she's trying to compare this show with Tiger King, man. And I never could get it out of her to understand. Like, I don't get it. I don't see it. I know it's a train wreck and he's doing what he's doing, but I don't get it. And she couldn't even explain it to me. So she finally, yesterday, said to me, she says, I'm going to put together some... Yeah, somebody can relate. So she finally said, she says, Dad, I'm going to put together some clips, some back and forths. And it's like, my daughter's coming of age. She's like actually getting what I'm doing, good or bad. And I'm hoping she actually follows through and puts together these clips, because it'd be just crazy enough that she actually puts together something that I may not get, but you guys will love. So I'm crossing my fingers for that. Another week has gone by. Tomorrow's Monday. There's going to be another Monday full of news on how many people have passed away and how serious this pandemic is and how we should be following up and not taking this lightly and, not over getting paranoid, and don't freak out, but yet take this seriously. Lockdown, most of the United States is trying to deal with this and saying, sit your asses home. I just want you to know, from me to you, you're not alone. We're all in this together. That's why we got to do this, to help each other out. And this too shall pass. But don't be a dumbass. That's my slogan. Don't be a dumbass. Just try to tone it down. Don't make like everything is okay. I mean, just do this. For the sake of your family, your friends, just try to help out. No matter how hard it is, whatever it is, slow it down. Stay home. Don't overdo it. You just don't know. I rather be wrong and you tell me I told you so than something go wrong on your end and I have to look at whoever's left and say I told you so. It's kind of sad. I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I hope the late show guests of the Late Show and all, your Stephen Colbert's and Jimmy Kimmel's and Jimmy Fallon's who are struggling to do a naked show from home, take a lesson. I think it's going to do them all real good too. There's so many people doing things live, this and all these live feeds. It's hard. It's not easy. You're naked. I may be wearing a suit, but, I've had more practice. Again, the master of no budget. Right here. Life of Peter G. The Peter G. Show live on my official Facebook Peter G. Show page every Sunday night, 8:30 p.m. Central Pacific, 10:30 Central, 11:30 on the East Coast. I want you to share. I truly appreciate all of you. You can't, I can't say it enough. How appreciative are you? You guys write me through the weeks, and I love it. Let's make the best of this. Next week is Easter. This is the weirdest thing. American Easter. The Greeks are a week behind. It's complicated. That's all I can say. Don't ask. Next week is American Easter. It's a lot. It means a lot to a lot of people, and we're so screwed up right now. It's almost like you're not even thinking about it. All I can say is try and think about it. There's a lot of meaning behind it, and I don't mean the Easter Bunny. For those of you that observe. For those of you that don't observe, be kind. Don't take any shit from anybody, but don't be a hard ass. Anything else before we wrap up? That's it. I'll reiterate, I want to thank Bolt Energy for allowing me to be here. I love these guys. I love what they do. No preservatives. Ask for it in stores. Bolt Energy. If you can't find it in stores because they're newer, go to www.drinkboltenergy and ask them where they can find Bolt Energy. All right? I love it. Tastes good. No preservatives. It's a cleaner energy drink. I don't drink coffee. I'm not into hot stuff. I like sparkly, a little bit carbonated, just right. Has that just enough flavor, taste, and just gets me to where, okay, let's move forward when I don't feel like it because I'm tired half the time. That's why I need to pay more attention to Dr. Talbott. From all of us here at the Peter G Show, I love you guys. Stay tuned next week. Watch the reruns, the rebroadcasts, share, okay? That's it. I hope you got something out of this show. I want to hear from you through the week. I love you when you're always, paying attention. I do have some super fans that are really, and I'm very appreciative to them, but let's bring in the newbies. Let's keep it moving forward, all right? Life is good, but you got to keep your life going, all right? From all of us to all of you, I'll see you next week. Stay safe, stay home, try to self-quarantine, whatever. Not easy, but life isn't easy. Can't say it enough. Can't tell you how much I appreciate and love you guys. I say that a million times, but that's because it's real. This is not network television. This is all about you guys and me. And I love you for it. All right? That's it. See you next Sunday or through the week. Tap in. Let's do this. All right? Peace out. Love you guys.
Peter G Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show, Peter G Show. Divorced dad, single dad.